Good morning. This is Shane in regards to my 1971 F100 XLT Ranger heavy duty special. This is part 10 of the series. I've tried to do a good job capturing some of the things in my next build series, which I'll be doing a Cowdy swap in my second gen Ford Bronco. I will try to capture some more of the actual things I had to do with getting the NP205 transfer case mounted up and to the advanced adapters conversion plate, which bolts right to the 6R80 Ford transmission. Anyways, I wanted to start with this truck because, as you can see, it is really cold outside. I live in the central Washington area of the Pacific Northwest. It is very chilly. We haven't had a lot of snow lately. However, everything is iced and frosted. It's about 28 degrees roughly. You can see everything's just frozen over there out in the distance. There's snow on the mountains, but again, we haven't had a lot of moisture this year. It's been kind of quiet with regards to weather. Here is that truck. As you can see, the hood is installed. The last video I did a few weeks ago, I wanted to do another video more recent, and I have done a few clips that I'll add to this video. But with the holidays and whatnot, I didn't have time to get it all together, spending time with family and whatnot. But it's got the hood on, it's been adjusted, everything's looking spot on. I did many hours of polishing. I did not do any wet sanding. This vehicle was painted before I purchased it. These colors are the original colors. It is boxwood green with seafoam as the two-tone between the XLT trim. This truck I would consider to be a daily driver quality paint job. They did a very good job. It's not show quality in my opinion, but the polishing just turned out nice. There are no swirls. Everything turned out very good. I mentioned in one of the videos that there was a little bit of a ripple in the hood. It is right there. Don't know how that happened, but I believe maybe the hood came up on the gentleman before or something to that nature, or when he was painting it, he put the hood on and it wasn't adjusted right before he lifted it and closed it, and it got bent real bad. I'm not entirely sure. This is I guess it would be technically a third owner truck, as I would be the third. The gentleman I purchased it from was the son of the original owner who bought it new. Awesome truck, no expense spared in the build. You can see the axle swap turned out fantastic. Everything is solid. It is done right. It's dusty because I've been doing a lot of test drives. This is not my first rodeo with these builds, but I've been doing a good job of doing lots of tests to make sure all the bugs are worked out, which I have not found any, other than doing the typical topping off the oil on the front and rear end, transfer case, transmission, and engine. Because in the front and rear end, as well as the transfer case, I replaced all the outer seals and gaskets and bearings, and so as it kind of breaks in, you need to check things. I did want to touch base with, this is a 2005 Plus Super Duty axle swap kit, and I think I did a pretty darn good job getting that wheel offset correct. So most of the Super Duty swaps, these tires and wheels will stick out quite a bit further past that fender flare that's built into the Ford fenders. I did my research. I didn't want that offset too far out. It does stick out just a little bit further in the rear. You can kind of see, but not much. I mean, I'm just trying to capture a better view here, but if you just go, here's following that line, and you can see it sticks out about an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter, forward and back. The wheels are almost a 6-inch offset to the inside. They are 18x9 method racing wheels. I want to say it was 5.8 inches offset. I tried to get as much offset as I could. That was based on, the current availability of wheels. That was the most offset to the inside I could get. And I think it turned out fantastic. It looks good, has a good stance. These wheels and tires look really good on the truck. These are essentially a 33 1250 18-inch wheel. These are metric sizes, so they have the 80 psi load range E wheels and the tires, so that way if you want to do any hauling, you could. The gear ratio are 373s. I mentioned earlier in the previous videos, they're 2006 Super Duty axles with the 373 gearing from the factory. The rear has the track lock Ford limited slip. Most everything else, like I said, I've touched base on. I've pointed out previously on other videos of that Volvo electric power steering that I put in. It works fantastic. There are no clearance issues. It's tucked up there nicely, well above the bumper line and frame line, and it's running on an 80 amp breaker, and works great. It's triggered by a relay that I installed, which triggers the pump to turn on and draw from the battery with the ignition. Here's the heavy duty special badging. I'm going to do a lot of photos today. This will essentially be a driving and cold start video. The bed, as I've pointed out previously, is original. It's never been repainted. The tailgate has inside and out, but the inside of the bed is original. There is no rust other than a little bit of surface rust. There are some holes right here. You can see there's two, and there's two on the other side, and then one on the back side. I'm pretty sure the gentleman had a camper in here. That's why these scratches are on the top, and they're perfectly uniform. And you can see against the wheel well on the inside there, it's been rubbed against as the camper has drug in and out. Like I said, it is a daily driver paint quality. They did a pretty darn good job, but it's not show quality. However, I would never hesitate taking this to any local car show or, car show you just want to go to. It is beautiful. This is all original on the inside. It's never been repainted. It has the vintage air Gen 4 heater box, which is heating and air conditioning. It is freezing, as I mentioned, and I just want to point out how cold it is. This thing has no temp. My shop is not heated, so this is a good representation of it being freezing. Fires right up, never has any issues there, and we'll go for a test drive. Okay, I've parked, got out safely, just wanted to take some photos, which I did. I want to show you how easy it is to pop this hood. This pops right up and then shuts just as nicely. Super nice. You can see kind of the paint quality. They did a good job for a daily driver. And then all the polishing I did really did help. Anyways, just kind of want to touch base with this truck. They painted the inside of the hood when they did the truck, and they kind of went out to about right here and then left the rest alone. I put a satin black on the inner fender wells because they had like a gloss black and it was chipping. So I sanded a bunch and then redid it. I think it looks a lot better to look more of a chassis black style. This is the original alternator. It came with the truck, and the air compressor is new. The other one wasn't engaging, so this one's new. This is the power by the hour electric fan relay or solenoid, and it's powered directly off the battery. There's a breaker right there for the electric power steering. Just wanted to kind of capture everything I haven't cleaned the motor yet. That's one thing I still need to do. So it's got a lot of little, just little haze and dirt. But that'll get cleaned up and it'll look fantastic. The valve covers are clean. This is a below 55,000 mile motor out of a 2017 F150, as I've mentioned before. The brake booster and master cylinder came out of a Ford Super Duty, early 2000s. And this is the same master cylinder they use today. So they haven't really changed anything. They just use Hydro Boost instead. And I considered going Hydro Boost, but in working with Battleborn Brakes and discussing things with him, he's like, Hydro Boost isn't needed. Those power boosters are huge. So unless you have space concerns, you don't have to worry about putting the Hydro Boost in. And that's just less hydraulic lines that I had to run. And since I didn't have the space concerns, this truck, even though it's got a Coyote in it, it's got the fat fender motor mounts, and so it drops it down. And Battleborn has an offset brake bracket for the Super Duty power booster, or vacuum booster I should say. It lifts it up an inch and to the right a little bit, and so it just lined up perfectly. Didn't have any issues with that. I just captured some of the workmanship here on photo that I'll post to Bring a Trailer. Everything looks great. I mean, this is a daily driver build. However, I built it so that if I wanted to keep it, I could and would, because it's just a gorgeous truck. And I'm a perfectionist, and these are just the things I like to do and do them right. So we're going to get back in this truck here in a second, and we are going to drive back to the house. And then I'll end this cold start and driving video. So bear with me a moment as I get in the truck and get my seatbelt on. Okay, just wanted to jump in the truck, get my seatbelt on, and head back to the house. So we're just kind of heading back. This truck is awesome. It's a blast to drive. Steering is tight. The steering wheel is pretty much right on. I got to make one last adjustment on it to get it over to the right just a little bit, and then we should be good to go. We are going up a hill to the left a bit, so makes sense. And the power of these Coyotes is awesome. They are a small displacement motor, as most of you know, but the RPM range and how quickly it gets to that RPM is incredible. They do a fantastic job of delivering power to the tires and just making it fun to drive. This will be a spectacular daily driver truck, and I just can't say enough about it. I hope each of you agree that the build quality and the parts used on this are just some of the best you can put on any vehicle at any time. Going up probably a 9% grade hill right now. You can hear the muffler kind of kicking down some. It did shift down and do exactly what it was supposed to do. So transmission's right on. Everything just idles and runs, and it's a blast to drive. I considered keeping this truck, as I mentioned earlier in this video, and I may still do it. I just want to see what's the market like. I honestly haven't seen a Coyote swapped bump side on Bring a Trailer in 4-wheel drive in a really long time. So long that I thought, well, I'm going to do this. And if you watch the build series of this truck, I wasn't sure if I was going to Coyote swap it at first. I was very unsure if I was going to keep the original 360 motor, go with a Ford 460 with a C6, or do this Coyote swap. I wasn't sure. And I did some research on Bring a Trailer and couldn't find a 4-wheel drive Coyote swapped bump side in quite some time. And so I felt like this would be a good time to do this. I had the motor, I had the transmission from the same truck, I had the expertise, and I felt like I should give it a try. So I did. I'm happy I did. I love this truck. And on idle, fogged up the camera, look at that. On idle, it just purrs like a kitten. It is very, very quiet. And this truck hopefully will find a new home soon on Bring a Trailer. And I hope you guys will appreciate it as much as I do. It's a gorgeous truck. The only reason why I am considering selling it is, one, I do this for my extra money. I have a full-time job, but this is what I do for extra money. This is not my only build. This is one of about 8 that I've done. Mostly dent sides, I might add, and Broncos. But this is my first bump side. And I just saw the heavy duty special. I just think it's a beautiful truck. The color scheme is spectacular. And just the combo package with the Super Duty axles, these wheels and tires. Now granted, I would prefer to have done a 17-inch wheel, but as you can see with the calipers on the Super Duty brakes, there's not much space. I probably could have squeezed some manufacturers of 17-inch wheels, but it wouldn't have been easy to find. And if any of you follow Matt Cubic with Cubic Motorsports on Bring a Trailer and or YouTube, he's done a lot of research on these, and he went with a 8x6.5, and it was quite a bit of work to get these dialed in and working with these bump sides and look like they have the right offset, and of course have the steel wheels that these bump sides come with. He had some rubbing issues on the 17-inch wheel, but it wasn't too bad, not enough to stop him from doing it. And he just does a phenomenal job on his trucks, and I just wanted to shout out to him. I appreciate his videos. He's given me a lot of inspiration on my builds, and hope each of you appreciate this truck and what it stands for as well, for me and for the Ford community. Get these lights on. I just wanted to show you license plate, everything. These are LEDs, they're Dakota Digital, and there are the bumper license plate lights rolling as well. All the lighting works perfectly.